Welcome to this week's edition of The Blitz. On today's show, offensive line coach Mike Foley will be joining us, along with his senior captain, Steve Greene. And on Mulcahy's matchup, we will break down our last game against USF and our upcoming matchup against Cincinnati. So thanks for tuning in. And now, The Blitz. As you can see, the voice of the Huskies, Joe D'Ambrosio, is joining me on the show today as my esteemed co-host, Sean Mulcahy, couldn't be here today. He and his wife had their first child this morning, a baby girl, Maeve, 8 pounds, 8 ounces. So we want to give a great big congratulations to him and his family on behalf of the entire Blitz crew. And thank you to Joe for coming in to pinch hit for Sean.
Always glad to pinch hit for the big fella, Emily. I think he's got other things on his mind as we tape this.
All right, let's get into it here. Now let's talk about last weekend's game. Homecoming weekend, the first game under new interim head coach TJ Weiss. The Huskies lost 13-10 to USF. They did put up 365 total offensive yards, and despite being ahead in nearly every statistical category, they just couldn't come away with the win. What was the difference maker?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think when UConn got a turnover earlier in the game on the Byron Jones interception, you have to turn those into touchdowns. You can't keep turning those into field goals. At some point, it'll come back to bite you. Obviously dropped passes. TJ Weiss talked about it on the radio show, on his weekly press conference. You got to make those catches. A couple of those balls are touchdowns, and then it doesn't come down to USF driving. And again, that USF drive that put them in the lead in the fourth quarter, Emily, they didn't have a third down conversion in the second half until that drive. They didn't have a first down in the second half till then. They got 4 first downs in that drive. And the kid Klaus has a cannon in his foot. And if you're looking for it as a half glass full, and I know you're like that, sometimes me not so much, then I think you see great improvement. But at the end of the day, it's all about wins and losses, and the Huskies are still looking for that first win.
And in that line with improvement, the O-line is back under Mike Foley's tutelage, and they showed it, gaining 207 yards on the ground. What is your assessment of the O-line and the offense this week?
Well, I think, Emily, the fact that the offensive linemen are more confident. I don't think they were confident in the previous scheme. I think things have been simplified, and it makes their job easier. Now, a lot of the reason the offensive line was able to play better and look better was because of the running back. Lyle McCombs had such a terrific game. That 52-yard touchdown run looked like something you draw up in Madden 14. At least that's what the kids tell me. But I think you have people in the offensive line. You have Steve Greene. You have Alex Mateus in the middle. Certainly Kevin Friend returning at the right tackle spot is critical. And I just think they feel more confident about what they're doing, and that's the reason that they had a much better game on Saturday against South Florida.
And the defense looked pretty good again this week. They kept the Bulls to 228 total yards, did not let them into the red zone once. What was your take on the defense this week?
I thought very aggressive. Marquise Van certainly stepped up for the injured Ryan Donahue, played great, had a pick that he could have had, but he dropped it, but the coaches spoke about him. Jefferson Ashiru played his best game with 10 tackles. I think the defensive line is playing much better. I think Shamar Stephan isn't getting the credit for playing as well as he's playing in the middle. He's double-teamed every game, and he's come through. He had a career-high 8 tackles on Saturday. And in the secondary, I thought Byron Jones' interception was kind of typical of the way that the secondary played. I thought overall, if I were grading, I would give the defense a solid B for the way they played against South Florida.
They definitely looked really good out there. Now let's take us through that last drive of the game. There was 1 minute and 46 seconds left on the clock. Tim Boyle was driving down the field. He was making connections. He did have a few near interceptions.
3 passes should have been picked off in that drive, and then the time management at the end would have been a moot point.
Right. But he did get there. He did get the Huskies to the USF 49 with 20 seconds to go. But chaos ensued, and the Huskies were forced to throw that Hail Mary. Now, you've covered a lot of games in your career. You've seen the clock winding down, trying to make the next move. Can you take us through what happened on that drive and what your thoughts are?
My thought was that when you get the first down on the pass to Demir Bradley, you don't even have to look over at the sideline. You have to clock the ball at that point. You have to throw it into the ground, and then maybe you've got like 15 15 seconds or so. Then you don't use your timeout. Then you've got a couple of plays to move the ball farther down the field. TJ has taken all the blame for that, saying he should have been, he thought the clock was at a different point and stuff. And that's all well and good. And I think in the future, the one thing I think we've learned about Tim Boyle since he's been here is he doesn't make the same mistake twice. I think in a situation like that, if you're the quarterback, you just get everybody set, throw the ball into the ground, and start from there. Then they would have had 14, maybe 15 seconds. You could have gotten off a couple of passes in the sidelines. You could have even thrown one down the middle end and called it your final timeout. But I think it was a combination of things. I don't think it was just you can put the blame on the clock management of the coach, but I think that's not. I don't think that's totally fair.
Well, overall, who knows what would have happened?
Right, exactly, because we don't know if they would have gotten the ball in position. We don't know if Chad would have made a field goal. I mean, let's be honest. The turf at the Huskies' home field leaves a lot to be desired, and I'm not an agronomist. I just play one on the radio.
All right, Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll check back in with you a little bit later.
I look forward to it, Emily. Thanks for having me here.
All right, now let's take a look back at highlights from UConn versus USF.
Now they blitz. Boyle rolls right. He's got room. He's going to take it. He's going to get the first down and more. And he slides and he gets drilled at the 41-yard line. And that should bring a flag, but it doesn't. No pressure. Throws upfield, and it's intercepted by Byron Jones at the 29-yard line. Andre Davis slipped, and Byron Jones, 5 for 7 on field goals this year. Wagner sets it down, and Kristen gets the Huskies on top. Boyle out of the gun. Gives to McCombs again, dances away from the tackle, cuts it outside, upfield for the first down, into USF territory, and he's shoved out of bounds. 7 in the box for the Bulls. Hand off to McCombs, sees a hole on the left side, breaks it, up the field of 35 to the 40, outside of the 45. He's slowed down and stopped at the 48-yard line. South Florida with 4 down linemen. They give it to McCombs, hole off the right side, cuts it back up field 40, center step to the 35, McCombs to the 30, cuts it outside of the 25, back inside of the 20, cuts it left, and he's going to go in! Touchdown! Touchdown, Connecticut! Boyle takes the snap from Mateus, throws it to Davis, he's got it at the 40, inside the 40 to 36-yard line. Down lineman. Boyle takes the snap, throws, he's got McCombs for the first down.
It's time now for Coach's Corner. I am joined by our offensive line coach, Mike Foley. Thanks for being on the show today, Coach.
Great to be here, Emily.
Now, after taking 2 years with the tight ends, you have returned to the O-line, where you're known as one of the best in the business. How do you like being back with the O-line?
I love being back, but I can say that I really enjoyed my time with the tight ends. I was very fortunate, had some very good players and guys that I really enjoyed coaching there also. But I feel comfortable being with the offensive line, no question.
Now, the offensive line has been a bit of a bone of contention throughout the season. When you took over, you had some work to do there. What was it that you wanted to focus on, and as soon as you got your hands on those guys?
I think the biggest thing was just trying to get better, trying to improve, trying to get more physical, really in the run game. We've got to do a better job in the pass game. It's a work in progress, and hopefully each week we're just going to keep getting better.
And this past weekend, your line was blocking for a brand new quarterback in true freshman Tim Boyle. He seemed to have more time in the pocket, and our rushing game was much improved with 207 yards. What is your assessment of how that O-line played this weekend?
I think we were solid. We did do a good job in the first half in the run game. Kind of in the second half, things broke down a little bit. We had 4 negative runs. We did have some good runs in there, but sometimes, I know this is a play caller, I've done it before, sometimes when you have a negative, some negative plays, all of a sudden you kind of drift away from it. And so I understand why that was happening, but at the same time, I still like the aggressiveness. I thought we were doing a pretty good job finishing blocks and doing things, and we still got to get better. And the pass protection overall was probably a little bit better, but we can't give up the sacks.
All right, and next week we do head over to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats. They're a very good team, and their defense is tough. What have you seen on the film from the Bearcats that will help you guys prepare as the offense takes them on?
Well, they are an excellent defense. They're strong up front. They're front 7. They're big. They're pretty athletic, but they're strong. I think that's the biggest thing. They'll be as good at any front that we've faced so far. So we've got to do a great job sustaining blocks and getting on people and keeping our feet moving, really, and sustain the block because they are strong individuals overall.
And later on the show today, we're going to have your senior captain, Steve Greene, on the show. He's the leader of that line. There's certainly a lot of composure that we see out of him during the games. But you get to see many different sides of Steve Greene. Can you share some insight with us about the senior captain?
Steve's done a great job. I don't have any real funny stories or anything at this point, but I think the big thing I'll say about Steve, he's made great improvement over his 5 years here. I just know in the last year and a half, with Coach DeLeon coaching him, he's really improved his technique and doing that type of stuff. The thing I was really impressed this past game, I thought where he continued to get better was he sustained blocks, kept his feet moving, and he also did a great job in pass pro from the standpoint of when he came up empty, there was nobody for him to block. He was very physical and went after other people. So he showed a real aggressiveness, which I was real pleased with.
Well, I know we are all really excited to watch this O-line grow throughout the rest of the season. So thanks so much for being here on the show today, Coach.
Oh, great being here, Emily. Appreciate having me.
All right, fans, now let's head out to campus for a little Know Your Foe. I'm out here in front of the School of Business for this week's Know Your Foe, where we will be stopping people to find out how much they know about our next opponent, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Do you know who the UConn football team is playing this weekend?
Yes, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
I do not.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
They're playing Cincinnati.
Playing Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
What is their mascot?
Not sure.
A tiger.
It's kind of like a tiger. It's two animals smushed together.
Two animals smushed together. A liger?
A liger.
The Bearcats? The Bears or something like that? Bearcats?
Yeah.
Bearcats.
They are the Bearcats.
No.
Okay, it's two animals together.
It's cat dog.
The Bearcats.
The Bearcats.
Bears, right?
What's the animal supposed to be that's smushed together with another animal that ends in
They
cat?
climb trees, they eat honey.
Oh, bear? Bearcat? Bearcat? Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
Bearcat. Would have never gotten it. Never would have gotten it.
What are their colors?
Red, black, and white, I believe.
Orange and white.
Black and red.
Orange and black?
Not orange, but close to orange.
Yellow and black.
The other kind of close to orange.
Red and black?
Red and gold.
Oh, close. Red and...
White. Blue. Purple. Yellow. Gray. Black. Yeah. Red and black, totally.
Black and red.
Red and black.
Orange, blue, red. Red and black?
Yes. Do you know what conference they're in?
3.
The Eastern Conference. Atlantic Conference. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay, it's the same one we're in. Does that help?
Not really.
American?
I'm going to say American?
Yeah.
Oh, killing it.
All-American Conference.
The American Athletic Conference.
They used to be in the Big East, but now I believe they're in the American Conference.
Where is it located?
Ohio.
In Ohio.
Cincinnati is in Ohio.
Ohio.
Ohio? Yeah? Oh, my God.
In Ohio.
Ohio.
Is there a question mark at the end of that or a period?
A period. Exclamation point.
Ohio? No. Where is this located? Cincinnati. None of you guys know where Cincinnati is located?
You already said it.
Ohio? Is it Ohio? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Why didn't you give me that answer? Come on.
What time zone is Cincinnati in?
Oh, wow. Central.
Eastern.
My goodness, you're very good at this game.
The same as us? The same as us.
Oh, I have no idea.
Want to take a guess?
Pacific? I don't know.
Is it the same one as us? Yeah. No, should be the same one as us, right? Yeah, same one as us.
They are in the Eastern time zone.
I believe the Central time zone.
It's actually in the Eastern time zone.
Eastern time zone. All right, you learn something every day, man. That's why you're in college.
What are residents of Cincinnati called?
Cincinnatians? Cincinnatians? I have no clue how. Yeah, that's it. Cincinnatians.
I like Cincinnatians. It's actually Cincinnatians, but Cincinnatians is kind of cool.
Yeah, we can start that up. With a new one.
We'll send them this tape and see what they think.
Cincinnatiites.
Cincinnatians.
Yeah, that's right. Was that a guess?
Yeah, that was a complete guess.
Couldn't tell you.
Cincinnatians. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Okay.
Cincinnatians? I don't know. Okay.
Cincinnatians.
No, I like that, though. It's Cincinnatians.
Cincinnatians?
Yeah.
I think mine was better.
Cincinnatians?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really? Yeah. Wow, that's strange.
What former Cincinnati Bearcat caught the game-winning touchdown in the Patriots game this weekend?
What was his name? I just watched that.
Kembrell Tompkins.
Last name starts with a T?
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I just know that his last name starts with a T.
I'm not a Pats fan. I couldn't tell you. Even though I hate the Patriots, I'd have to be Kembrell Tompkins.
That's right.
Good for him.
We have senior captain and offensive guard Steve Greene on the show with us now. Thanks for being here, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now you have your old offensive line coach, Mike Foley, coaching your position again. I know you have a great relationship with him. He was on the show earlier and said some very nice things about you. What is it about his coaching that you like?
You know, I think Coach Foley's a guy that you automatically respect. You know, he's been there. He's done a lot, you know, through his career, and you know, results show by the guys that he's put into the NFL. So that's a guy that you want to come in and you want to learn from.
And we did see a much stronger O-line come out against USF. You more than quadrupled what the season average was for rushing in that one game. What improvements did you see in your line, and what do you still want to continue to improve on?
You know, I think we played more physical as a unit. You know, we're able to really line up and beat the guy across from us. You know, and that's what we really need to just continue to improve on is just being a physical offensive line that goes out and plays with that chip on our shoulder every week.
All right, can you talk a little bit about rookie Tim Boyle coming in to play quarterback? Can you imagine going from senior prom to starting quarterback for your state's university for their homecoming game in just under 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, the pressure that was probably on him for that one was insurmountable, you know, but he came out and he did great. You know, he grew all week, you know, showed in practice every day. He got a little bit better every day, and then, you know, really couldn't ask him to play any better on Saturday. You know, kid went out there and he played a great game. You know, just unfortunate that, you know, we didn't come away with the win.
It was fun seeing him out there for sure.
Definitely.
Now, the O-line is one position that doesn't get much recognition. You don't get stats. You never get the glory, but you often get the blame.
Yeah.
Where do you find the rewarding part of playing O-line?
You know, I think you see it in the rushing yards. You know, that's one big thing we take pride in. You know, and the other is, you know, keeping the quarterback off the ground. You know, those are two things that if we sit down at the end of the day and those numbers are where we want them, then, you know, we take great pride in. And then ultimately it's with wins.
Next up, you guys, we'll travel to Cincinnati. We've played there twice since you've been a Husky, and we've had some really great games against them. What is the atmosphere like there at Nippert Stadium, and what do you guys need to do to get the program's first ever win there?
Nippert gets loud. You know, it's a small, compact place that you know they have good fans. You know, the place gets loud, and if we let them get up early on us, we could be in for a long day. You know, we got to come out early. We got to capitalize on some things and get the ball in the end zone to keep that crowd under control.
Okay, Steve, now we know that you're in the trenches every day on that O-line, but we're going to put you through our trenches here in our game, 3 and Out.
3 and Out.
How it works is I will ask you 3 questions about yourself, and you give me the first answer that comes to mind, and then we'll do it again 3 and Out about your teammates.
All right.
You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, first question. What is your favorite home-cooked meal?
Apple dumplings.
Ooh, very quick answer. Okay, what is your least favorite workout that you have to do during conditioning?
Bear crawls.
Okay. And what is your favorite Disney movie?
The Little Mermaid.
Oh, interesting pick. I like that. Okay, now 3 and Out, the other side. Which teammate of yours would be the worst at playing your position?
Chandler.
Okay, that makes sense. Which teammate of yours would you say is the most sensitive?
Ooh, Chandler again.
Okay, let's go. 2 for 2. What is one thing that you want Husky fans to know about your fellow O-lineman, Jimmy Bennett?
Jimmy Bennett is a techno Viking. You know, he's a large, bald-headed man with a big beard that only listens to techno music. It's pretty amusing.
Oh, that is something that I think most fans wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, thank you so much for being here today. We're really excited to see this new and improved O-line and see what else we can do here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's head back now to Mulcahy's matchup. We're back now with Mulcahy's matchup with the voice, Joe D, back for round 2. Thanks for coming back.
I'm glad you had me back. I figured Mulcahy would get done with the kid and be back for the second segment.
I guess he's not ready quite yet to
No, probably not.
All right, next up, the Huskies will head to Ohio to take on Cincinnati. They're 4-2, and they're coming off of that win over Temple, but they too lost to USF this season. What do we know about the Bearcats?
Well, we know that Tommy Tuberville's been around the block once or twice, the head coach who took over for Butch Jones, who went down to Tennessee. Brendan Kay is the American Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Saying Big East is a fine, by the way, that I have to pay. He had a terrific game. He was 31 for 37 against Temple for 290 yards. Once Munchie Lego got hurt, Emily, they kind of changed the offense around a little bit. They're going more spread. They're more going a 10 package or 11 package. And I think that the thing that Kay does, and we saw him play at Rentschler last year when they won the last game of the regular season, is he gives him a little more diversity. He's a good passer, but he can tuck the ball under and run. So it's very imperative for the UConn defense to stay in their rush lanes and not let this guy get outside of containment.
And like you said, he got the award last week for Offensive Player of the Week, and he's very versatile. He can punt the ball. He's punted in all but one game this season. What kind of a threat does that pose to UConn, as they can be so versatile on that fourth down?
Oh, I think that's very important. I think if you see him in the game, you don't know if he's going to pass it or he's going to quick kick it. I think, it doesn't seem to me, what I've seen of Tommy Tuberville teams, that he's that much into gimmicks like that. Now, that could all change on Saturday, and I could be totally wrong. It's happened once before. But I think that the thing that you have to do, and I know that this will be accomplished in practice this week, is they'll get the guys prepared for any situation. Anything that Cincinnati's done in their first 6 games of the year, UConn will be pretty well prepared for. The other thing that's funny is they've already played 3 conference games. So UConn's only played 1. I mean, the schedule's a little screwy. But so they've been through the conference wars, and obviously playing at home for them is a big advantage.
Certainly. And defensively, they're very tough. They don't give up very many third downs, and they don't give up very big plays. They allow just 270 total offensive yards per game. How do you see our offense under new leadership taking on that impressive defense?
Well, I think the big key for them is the linebackers. Their 3 linebackers are terrific players, particularly Nick Temple and Greg Blair. I think the offensive line, like they did against South Florida, thanks to guys like Steve Greene and Jimmy Bennett and Kevin Friend, they have to dominate the line of scrimmage. Give UConn a little room to make, and then let the running backs make their moves. Let McCombs, let DiLorenzo, let Hippolyte do that. The other thing that's also important is to give Boyle time to throw. A freshman's first game on the road is so much different than his first home game. Crowd will be loud. It's a very noisy place to play. It's small. It's compact. The noise really reverberates there. If the offensive line gives Boyle time to throw, I think UConn's receivers, provided they hold on to the ball, can make plays against the Cincinnati secondary.
All right, great. And we do know that these Huskies are down. They're 0-5 right now. It's not where they expected to be at this point in the season, and they do have some tough games going forward. You mentioned a few things that they need to do in order to get this first win over Coach Tommy Tuberville. What do you think about the attitude, the mentality that they need to have going in to say, hey, let's start now?
Well, I think, even though they lost the first conference game, most of the goals are still in front of them. They have to be like a good relief pitcher. They have to be Mariano Rivera or Jason Grilli of the Pirates, which I'm also saying because I know Steve Green's on the show this week. You've got to forget what happened in the last game. You have to forget what happened in the last play and just approach the next play as an entirely different subject. And I think we've seen that. It's a pretty resilient group. Yeah, they might be 0-5, but I see them in practice. They're working their tails off. This team has not given up yet, and that's a credit to the leadership.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much
for
your insight
today.
When
Mulcahy and Mrs. Mulcahy have another kid, I'll be back.
Yeah, he just texted and said, don't get too comfortable
there.
No,
I'm not. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you, Joe. All right, the Huskies will take on Cincinnati on October 19th at noon. You can catch the game on ESPNU, or even better, listen to this guy here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Thanks for tuning in to The Blitz with Joe D'Ambrosio. I'm Emily Noonan for Huskies All Access. We'll see you out there.